Kathy, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Julian Carrillo, and like I let you know in the email, I'm the intern for Enhearten. I went ahead and I did a little bit of research on the project you were doing. And first and foremost, I just wanted to say I absolutely love the project and the idea. Honestly, this is that project. It was something that really resonated with me growing up because growing up, I was somebody who came from a little bit of a not necessarily a foster care home like in the project, but a very low income home. So I didn't really have much growing up either. So
Yeah.
this project really reminded me of just junior high and just everything. And it just really hit home, honestly. I just want to really thank you for everything you did. And
It's
yeah,
beautiful. Thank you guys for coming alongside it. We couldn't have done it without the grant, so it's
absolutely
awesome.
amazing, like everything how it went into place. Just had a few questions for you. It's really,
Sure.
really sweet. It's just 10 that I wanted to start with. So
Awesome.
question number one. It's really easy. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the work you do?
Yeah, I'm Kathy DiVincenzo. I'm the executive director, and I'm blessed to be the founder of Honey from the Rock. We're Cleveland's first foster care closet. So we get the joy of coming alongside, whether it's foster or kinship homes. So kinship is think like grandparents or aunts and uncles or family friends that give their yes to that child in need. We serve those current placements, but we also get to come alongside reunified families that have earned their children back into their home, or families who have recently adopted from foster care, or even youth that have aged out of the system. So really think of us like a big umbrella of just if a child's experienced or recently have experienced the foster care system, we get to come alongside them with the tangible goods that they need to be set up for success, but also just connection to resources that are super important too.
Love that. Like I said, your project just resonates so much with me. When you said
Mhm.
about the uncle and the aunt, that's something that, I had to do to with experience with.
Yeah.
Question number two. What first inspired you to start the work you're doing today?
I was living the need. I always say I found my purpose in my proximity. And so sometimes it's not until, like you shared with your experience, it's not until you've been there that you fully can not only resonate, but like understand, okay, well, what does that person with that lived experience need? What does that look like? And so, as a foster parent myself, I was welcoming these placements in. I was spending on average about $300 per placement just to get them started. And I was noticing a lot of on paper support. So, hey, we get a stipend for some clothing and it's a new season and it's a certain amount to a certain store. And then I would get there with all the kiddos in tow, and there would be seven items in his size, all for girls. And so, a lot of barriers that I was experiencing, and then really opened my eyes to outside of myself and my own privilege of being able to stand in that gap myself and have the community rally around me that I've built, but families don't have that. There's so many kinship families that weren't able to preserve placement. And that relation is so important to us to preserve simply because of that financial burden. And so when I found out that Cuyahoga County, which is the county we live in, the largest number of kids in foster care in the entire state of Ohio, didn't have this resource, I said, say less. They do now. And so it was really born, long story short, from living it firsthand and thinking, how can I be that for others, what I have? So,
Like I said, I was reading about the entire project, and there was a specific part in the project that really just lit up for me. How you said how important it is for the kids to have every tangible thing they need. There was
yeah.
a really specific sentence or a line where you mentioned about an autistic kid getting a dinosaur backpack that really lit him up and that really
Mhm.
gave him the confidence in order to go to school. Going to school is already hard enough. I can't
Yeah.
imagine how much easier that made it for him. Honestly, just the fact that he didn't have to think about the backpack and could focus on school is a
Yeah.
huge difference. And I just wanted to point that out about this story.
I love that. And it's stories like that we hear time and time again. And what I think is important to note most about this grant, too, is we were able to hold this event, right? This back to school, be ready event for our kiddos and give them that dignity of choice and have them in a fun atmosphere that was really inclusive to them. But what's wonderful about the support that the grant provided is the ongoing support. So because we were able to order those backpacks and lunch boxes, we've still been using them
Yeah.
that are in these placements statistically are changing schools like that. So we just did an emergency order 2 days ago for a kiddo that included the backpack, the lunch bag, like all of that is still going out because these kids are still experiencing that transition year round, unfortunately.
Before receiving the Enhearten grant, what challenges were you facing?
mean, the biggest piece of that is the financial aspect, right? Of being able to say, I need to link arms with someone that values the dignity of choice as much as we do. Like we had that heart of wanting to provide it for our kids, but the biggest barrier there is always there's price tag to that experience, that level of dignity and care and choice. And so that was what we ran into, and that's where you guys really bridged that gap to make it possible.
I know Jenny's gonna love this. Number four, how did you feel when you found out you received the grant?
It was honestly the biggest sigh of relief. Like I just mentioned, it's like you have this desire and you see this need, and there's this gap, this chasm that receiving that grant, it's like, okay, here we go. We're able to now tangibly provide what we had in our hearts as a desire. And so, biggest sigh of relief, biggest fist pump happened for sure that day.
So amazing. Number five, how has the Enhearten grant helped move your work forward?
I mentioned it's an ongoing support. So for us, it was a one-time event that kicked it off, but kickoff is a perfect word for that because that grant has still, like I mentioned, been put into use and in action to come alongside these children with the dignity that they deserve. It's nice when it's not, I mean, one-time things are beautiful and there's so much
I,
worth in that, but it is so rewarding to be like, oh, it's still blessing kid, like it's still going.
not just that, but I feel like the previous kids who grow up and then still see this works in progress, they remember you like forever,
Yeah,
be
for sure.
more eternal than you truly imagine. Number six, what does Enhearten mean to you personally?
Well, for me, based off of our experience, it means connection. It means that someone sees us, that someone sees our kids that we serve. I think my biggest obstacle as the executive director is pulling back that curtain and asking people to look. And so Enhearten to me means that kids are worthy of seeing, and not just that, but they're worthy of partnering with, and they're worthy of that investment of coming alongside. So for us, Enhearten means worthiness.
I love that because as the intern, coming in, I didn't really know much about Enhearten in the beginning, but now for me, the big idea that's been revolving is unseen leaders. The whole idea
Yeah,
of these unseen leaders in the world that
yeah,
need to be seen, and the fact that you just said that is like just connecting everything together from what
yeah.
they want to present to what you're experiencing, and it's perfect. It's
It's beautiful.
number seven. What impact are you hoping your work will have on others?
That's such a good question. And as somebody that lives on the high level aspect of running a nonprofit, it's you're tempted to go right to what you deal with every day of like people want to know the numbers and people want to know. For me, my hope is the legacy of even just one child, like you said, remembering, just changing the trajectory of that experience that is, regardless, it is trauma always. So even if we can just infuse, which is where the name comes from, honey from the rock, like can we bring this little bit of sweetness from the hardest time in their life? And so my goal and the legacy of the foster care closet in general is to just have that child know that they're worthy, know they're important, and know they're worthy of coming alongside and feeling seen.
I love that because I was reading over the project and obviously it says over 100 students and more than sure I'm more than sure all of those 100 students are going to remember this because
Yeah, they had the best time. And
yeah,
all of our emergency orders that the supplies have gone out since, like just seeing their face and hearing the stories from the caregivers. I mean, imagine right now starting at a new school, what that would feel like.
yeah,
It's already embarrassing. So that sense of like the baseline is trauma, but can we meet them to try to make that a little bit easier? And you guys have done such a beautiful job of partnering with us to do that.
exactly what I'm saying. Kids nowadays are more than scared that you to go to school, especially
Yeah,
how everything you mentioned about like the autistic kid and everything.
yeah.
The fact that that lit him up and that he was able to just
Mhm.
forget about that and just put that to the side
Mhm.
was so much more helpful than you could imagine because
Yeah. Well, it's the customization, right? Like they are grateful for us to come alongside with the tangible need, but we go beyond that to like, what do you like?
exactly, yeah, I love that.
Whether it's your color or finding that dinosaur backpack or whatever it is. We want to know what lights them up. So that's
It's
great.
I would just continuously think throughout the day so much.
It's the best job ever. Highly recommend.
I can
Start a
imagine
foster care closet.
much. How long ago, if you, this is not part of the interview, but how long ago did you start?
Our 1 year for the closet was January 8th.
Wow.
Hmm.
So literally, what's today, the seven, six, almost
It's crazy. Yeah,
months. Time flies. Time
you're
flies.
telling me.
Yeah. Okay, number 8. How important is community support in the work you're doing?
It's the heartbeat of what we do. We can't exist without community support. So, same thing that I mentioned before of like, here's the need, here's the desire to meet that need. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen without community support, especially when it comes for like a grassroots nonprofit like us, like boots on the ground. We are just so freshly in this without having other people like in Enhearten that are willing to be like, hey, this matters and this is worth linking arms with. It just doesn't exist.
How did you find out about Enhearten?
You know what's so funny is I don't even remember how we got connected. It's one of those things where you're like, and we've had so many stories of that when volunteers come to the closet. I'm like, how'd you hear about us? They're like, I
Yeah.
actually don't know, but what a blessing. Like how things just work out how they're supposed to. So I know.
Things, the
Some.
universe is just out to help.
I know.
Okay. Number 9. What would you say to someone who is passionate about making a difference but doesn't know where to start?
Yeah. I think for me, and this is me being biased because this was my experience, I think where to start is what you're seeing.
I agree.
Not necessarily just what you're living, but when I talked about that purpose and proximity, that proximity, what do you see? What are the gaps in your community that you might not necessarily be called to start something totally as your own, but is something already existing you can pour into? Is there something that you're noticing that you could fill a need in that's just waiting for you to take action? That's where the story with the closet started, where I was shocked we didn't have one. Cuyahoga County's such a beast to go against. It's really intimidating to say, can I, as one person, make a difference and make a change? So the biggest thing that I want to tell somebody is yes, it takes one person that cares about whatever issue you might feel called to really start that movement.
And you're right. There's so many things in our community that can just be changed. Like,
Yeah.
do you have any other ideas as far as like what other kind of was this the one and only idea that had ever came into your mind, or were there like other things you just wanted to change?
This was it. This is it. There's so, and you know, in Cleveland being a city, a big city, there are so many things that you see and you see a need for. But I think that there's a difference, and I think it's really important for people to fine tune what that is between here's all of the issues, but here's where I'm called to step into. So for me as a foster parent and someone who's already an advocate for foster youth and kinship preservation and reunification and coming alongside those birth families, it was a natural fit. So I would encourage people when you're seeing a need and you want to fill that need, why do you care? What ties you to that? Because when you start something, especially, my gosh, if you start a nonprofit and be as tired as I am, you have to have a why that supersedes all circumstance and drives you at the end of the day when you've just worked an 18-hour day.
Yeah,
What will keep you going? What's the heart behind it? And if you have that, you have everything. Everything else will come.
I agree. Do you have any other like friends or family members that are doing any other like nonprofits or projects as well?
So I'm thankful to be connected in the nonprofit sphere in Cleveland specifically. So everyone from the city mission when it comes to like shelters
Yeah.
to the food pantries we have here to other foster care related nonprofits that aren't doing exactly what we're doing, all the way down to nonprofits that do like residential work where they push in with kids that are really in crisis. So I've been blessed to be able to kind of see how other people are pouring into our community, not in the ways I'm called to, but in the ways that we can all link arms in the general sense of like just human dignity and seeing what is normally unseen.
Yeah, I agree. Unseen leaders. I
Hmm.
love that. Okay. Number 10. If you could share one message with the Enhearten community, what would it be?
Mm, that's such a good question. The community, as in other people that have received support like me, or the community, as in people like you who are the driving force behind it?
I would say both.
Hmm.
Say as far as like the Enhearten community as, the organization itself, but also as far as like the unseen leaders in the world.
I have a message that is for all of it. My biggest takeaway that I want everyone in the community to hear is to not grow weary of doing good. There is such power in your presence that you bring to the table and exactly what you're called to do. And in that, as humans, we do grow weary in the physical sense. But my biggest takeaway is to just encourage you that what you're doing is so important. Everything you care about is such an important piece that in growing weary and doing good, find the people around you that can hold you up in that process too.
I agree. I agree. I love that answer. Okay. Well, those are all my 10 questions.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you so much. Those were all amazing answers.
You did a great job.
Do you have any questions for me or anything you would like to?
No, how long are you interning for?
I'm gonna be interning for just a semester, so it's about like 5 or 6 months or so.
Okay, what are you going to school for? I saw in my email inbox they probably were updating about you.
Yeah, more than
I
likely.
think they did a newsletter. Okay, what are you
Yeah,
going to school
the
for?
newsletter, marketing, communications marketing.
That's what I majored in.
Nice, nice. So
Hmm.
in the
You can do anything with it. I've done everything.
yeah, for me
So,
personally, I'm thinking about going into like social media. I'm a huge sports fan, so I want to do something that
fun.
maybe like live in Spain or like do some
Yeah.
social media Spain, something crazy.
That'd be so cool. Well, this is the perfect jumping off point where you can kind of test the waters and learn the ins and outs
100%. And maybe
and
like
then launch off.
exactly like do projects like these, like yours in Spain, help out other kids in need, stuff like
That'd be
that.
great.
That'd be amazing. Maybe one
I
day,
love
we can
that.
I can send you an email about your experiences and how you can help me.
Yeah. Oh, the door is always open. Anything I can help you with advice wise, you let me know.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome. It was so nice meeting you. Tell everybody on the team I said hello. I'm
You're
so
very welcome.
grateful.
They'll see this for sure. Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you. All right. See you later.
see you later. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
You too.